Hello everyone, Mike here. So tonight I'm joined by Jimbob from Jimbob's Gardening and Farming, and he's already burst into laughter. You made 8 seconds. Hold on, that's a record. 8 seconds.
Hello everyone. Wow.
So welcome to the stream, Jimbob.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on today.
You're welcome. It's been a while since we've done one of these live streams as well. So, oh, you're gone. No, you're back. So yeah,
sorry, my dog's just been very
annoying. I'm glad we can do these again now. Now we've sort of got set up again, so hopefully there'll be some more of these in the future, possibly.
Sounds cool.
So, what have you been up to in the garden then recently, Jimbob?
Oh wow, where do I start? Everything has changed. I mean, literally everything. Like unimaginable things have happened. I've shifted. So basically, I've lost my outlet where I used to sell my plants.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But today I had my first order. It was really successful, and I'm just starting to change things up a bit and going through a bit. I'm using this time that I've got now to sort of do a bit of a much needed overhaul on the type of plants I'm growing and sort of upgrading my facilities, if that makes sense. So like,
yeah,
getting rid of rubbish.
So Baisy's here. Hello, thank you very much for coming along to the live stream.
I need to get the chat.
Oh no, not that again. If you get it up on your phone, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just.
Or if you want, I can pin comments each time.
Yeah.
Like this. Not really.
See
I
what
literally just click on a comment and it appears. Or actually, I can share my screen.
Oh, there we go. Hi, Basie. Hello. Let me just. I'll get it on my phone as well, so it saves you like.
Yeah.
It's cool. So, what have you been up to then? I hear you've got lots of exciting news to tell everybody.
Yeah. So, I've obviously recently got my field, which has been really exciting, and
yeah,
I've been mainly doing stuff down there really recently.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Go on. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I've looked at your channel the other day. You haven't done a field update, have you? Or like recently?
No, I did film one, but that was about as far as I got.
I'm just gonna say that's quite exciting just to see how it's getting on, because like I haven't seen much. I've seen bits, but I haven't seen like, because it's difficult to see it on a video call.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I filmed one a couple months ago, but it's really outdated now. It looks nothing like it does now. So I'm gonna. Well, I meant to get one up today, but it'll probably be tomorrow now to get it up.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Are you planning on making a comeback to YouTube then? Because we haven't really seen you.
I think I might. It's just at the minute, like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And not just like privately as well. There's some stuff going on, so it's all a little bit hectic. But I'll try. I mean, yeah, I think so. I want to. I want to come back. But it's like I want to come back and I don't want to come back. If that makes sense. Like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was sort of the same. And then I just decided I enjoy YouTube. It's what I want to, I like doing it. So I thought I'd just come back.
Yeah. I mean, I like doing it. But it gets to a point sometimes like you need that long break. And I don't know why. It just gets you feel like you're just throwing the same videos out every single day. And it's just like, I certainly don't upload daily.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Videos out like every week or every other week, and it's just
Basie says she thinks you should make a comeback, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will. I've like, there's lots to film, so that's not the issue. But like, it's I said like a lot. Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. It's YouTube sometimes can be quite time consuming when you're busy. You just it's it's the least of your priorities really.
Yeah, I prefer. I love the filming more. More than like the other stuff.
Yeah, I can't stand the editing. That's it for me. I absolutely hate the editing. I was saying that last night on my live stream. It's just so boring.
And like what I feel, this is what I got to a point where with my YouTubing, like it got to a point where I feel like if I didn't edit my videos, people just wouldn't watch them, because realistically the quality's got to be there, and if I just don't edit them, then people won't watch. And I've got to a point where, I did get to a point where it became more of a chore doing the editing and actually fun part of the process, which is what it's all about. So
I think as well, this is an issue I've noticed with a lot of channels. They upload too many videos in one go and then just sort of burn out and run out of ideas and stop. I think we've both been guilty of that in the past.
It happens
many times a year normally, doesn't it? And we'll stop for like 2 or 3 months and then come back. So I think my goal, certainly for my YouTube channel, is to try and sort of space out my uploads a bit better, do some more live streams, for example, and
that's a big thing. We do tend to have like long breaks every 3 or 4 months, which isn't ideal.
No,
but it usually sort of happens like either one of us will stop and then
the other,
which is a shame. But like I don't know who it was. We both sort of stopped at the same time. Like last time, I kind of stopped after a little while.
So I'm just trying to work out how to make another banner.
Very cool.
There we go. Right, there we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, so obviously you've started taking orders then. So what sort of things are you selling then?
So so today I took an order of 10 coleus plants.
Oh yeah.
Which is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic for the first time. That 10 coleus, so that's 10 plants in one go, which is actually kind of
very good.
Kind of by surprise. I would think people will be ordering and all of the same plant. It feels great just to get a bunch out, all get them all finished, not just having like 2 or 3 coleus plants hanging around, which is that's like why I'm trying to promote more say like plants that you can't really sell on your own, if that makes sense. So it's like with like earlier this year I sold all my French beans in 1 hour, but if I was to do it next year I might only sell a couple in an hour and then I'll have loads left. And also the reverse would happen. I could have
I find
like 3 or 4 left.
So I think we got a bit of a lag on the mics.
Oh, there we go. I'm just trying to send out the stream to my family if they want to watch it.
So one of the things I've been doing down in my field the past few days is I've got a slight issue with blight on probably about 1/5 of my potatoes. So the past few days I've been removing all of the blighted leaves and then just burnt them just now. So that's been taking up a lot of time because I wanted to start so many other projects. I've got loads of seeds here that I wanted to sow in my field, and I got more seeds that I've sown up in my windowsill ready to plant out at some point. And I just, because I've been removing all these leaves, I haven't had the time to do that. And then now I've only just started digging over the beds to plant these seeds. So I'm a little bit behind, but I'm hoping to catch up over the next few days.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool.
So Bazy's saying Treg the farmer has stopped YouTube recently. Yeah, he was one of the people that came to mind when I mentioned that earlier. I think the issue is we've done it as well. We uploaded too many videos and then sort of ran out of ideas for a while, but he'll probably make a comeback in a few months. That's normally what happens with us anyway.
I'd hope he'd make a comeback because it would be great to have all 3 of us on the live stream. Although it might be a bit chaotic. But
especially if we have mic lag, we'd all be interrupting each other.
Yeah, but hopefully it will be. I mean, his internet's pretty good anyway, I think. So
yeah. So, have you got any interesting plants growing at the minute, then, Jimbob?
interesting. Maybe. Think not really.
Not really.
Not really. To be honest with you,
Coleus,
I've got. Sorry.
What about Coleus?
Coleus, yeah, Coleus, I think are brilliant. I've sold all of them now, so I don't really have any. Well, I don't have any. But I like to grow them. I'll certainly be doing them next year. It's quite. They're really easy to grow, actually, despite everybody saying they get fungus and like mold issues. I find them quite easy to grow if you can maintain a good airflow in your greenhouse, which is paramount. Oh, yeah. Paramount to the crop success. But in terms of sellability, fantastic. I mean, they seem to be really popular. And actually, I've never seen any like in garden centres, which is quite.
Gardening Quick Tips is here. Hello, thank you for coming along. Yeah, to be honest, I've only seen them once or twice, and then I grew my own. But so basically saying that Treg told her he's going to make a comeback when he has a tractor license. Okay, so he'll be gone for quite a while.
Be wasting a long time, and that's assuming he passes it. No, it'll be fine.
So Ray's saying, good to see you both back together. Yeah, we've been meaning to do this now for quite a while, but we keep just sort of having other stuff to do. So we finally managed to do it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to get back. It'll be it'll be fantastic.
So Jimbob, what's your greenhouse looking like at the minute? Has it got lots of plants in it, or is it relatively empty?
Last year, in sort of like summer, in summer, I kind of fell off the gardening ladder. If that makes sense. So my greenhouse was sort of half empty. I stopped sowing seeds, and I just kind of was selling all the stock I had, and just I suppose stocking up for the winter. I don't know. I was buying loads of seeds. I kind of got in the mindset that summer's already over, like the selling season's already over. If that makes sense.
It's very easy to get like
because you can't sow a lot of seeds. But this year I've focused on seeds that I can sow, and kind of do something that I've gone off piste a little bit with my seed packets. When they've said to sow in May, I've sown in July, and because of the really hot weather we've had this year, it has actually worked, and late sowings have actually been successful this year. So it's something I'm going to do in the future. I think is just extend that growing period by sowing a bit later.
Yeah, I think for a lot of things, if it says sow directly outside, if you sow them in your greenhouse or in your windowsill or whatever, and then grow them on for a little bit, they'll catch up to any other plants quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I found that with the French beans I sowed, I think on Friday. They were really. I mean, they were sprouting up the next day, so they were really. It was brilliant. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, sometimes you can get away with a later sowing, like you said. If the weather's good, you're normally all right.
Yeah. I mean, I've got so many free seeds that it's almost an annoyance because I get so many seeds and then I never get around to sowing them.
When I used to be subscribed to Grow Your Own magazine, that was my issue. I'd get 10 seeds a month, and realistically, even if I had my big polytunnel, I could, I'd barely be able to get through 10 seeds a month, 10 seed packets a month, because sometimes they might only have 5 in, other times they could have 10,000 seeds in. So it was very good to be able to get through those, and I found in the end I had to sell a load to people, give them away, because I just had way too many seed packets and they're all going to go out of date.
I mean, was that how much to gardening instead of Grow Your Own?
Grow Your Own, that was.
Grow Your Own. Yeah, I bought one of their magazines. I got 10 packets in it. 10 packets of seed.
They do 10 packets. When I first subscribed to them, it was 2 packets, and I liked that. And then it was around Christmas last year that they did 10 packets. I thought, oh wow, that's really good, extra seeds. But then they continued doing 10 packets from that point on, and then it sort of the novelty sort of wore off after then.
Yeah, it is, and like I almost feel bad because like they're giving you a gift,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Exactly what you mean. Yeah,
valuable for free. And in some cases, you just end up sowing it and wasting it because you've got so much that you can't pot it on, and then you're growing too much in a small space, and it just fails basically.
Yeah, it becomes too crowded, loses water, loses nutrients, and just
and then you don't have enough room to pot stuff on, and then you can't pot stuff on, so you're leaving crops in the trays because you can't pot them on, and then they just die.
Yeah, I did struggle with that my first year. I think I sowed like 10 packets, and it was around this time of year, and they're all ready, and it was difficult enough to keep them all watered. And then obviously as they're growing even more, they're taking more water, and I physically couldn't get them all potted up in time. And I think I lost 2 or 3 of the seeds before I could get all the rest potted up because they were just such a large volume of seeds already in one go. So now I sort of do little bits at a time. I've just sown probably about 30 seeds in my windowsill there of different plants, and then I've got some more seeds here, like I mentioned, that I'm going to direct sow into my field in a couple of days, and just things like that. Try and spread it out a bit so it's not too much potting up to do in the same day.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all about planning at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
That's something that I'm more right at, but with gardening, I kind of don't plan. I take a very weird approach, I think, to it. I don't plan. I just kind of think in my head. I never had anything written down, which is a real issue.
I've seen other people saying you should like have a written plan of what you're going to sow when it's going to be ready. I never do. I just sort of have it in my head, right? I know that's going to be ready then, and right.
I know some people.
A week later, I see some more seeds and sow them, and before I know it, I've got my seeds all down there.
In my mind, that's like the fun of it. Like, if everything was planned and everything was sort of predicted, and that prediction always was true, then there would be no fun. It would be boring.
Nothing unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I see people on there. I think it's mainly allotments. They have like an allotment planner for like what they're doing in each bed, which is great if you're doing crop rotations. You can write down what was in that crop rotation year before. That's handy. But I wouldn't go and buy an app or like, because some people have like these. I can't remember what it's called. It's got a name. I think it's an app or like a computer app, and it tells you. So you can draw your beds on the app, and you can put in each bed what the crop rotation was the year before. But it costs money; it's not free, and it's just like I would just do it in a book, like that one, bed 1, bed 2, bed 3, and write down.
I'm probably going to start something like that because at the minute I've got a like garden journal. I don't know where I put it now, and in that I basically keep track of my fails, my successes, what I did, why I think it failed and succeeded, and things like that. So I will probably start doing a plan, but it'll be a very loose plan. It won't be definitely going to be here. It'll probably be more right in a week. I'm going to put this in and type of thing because I'm not the greatest at planning ahead with stuff like that. Because, for example, other things can come up. Like I've got a big bag. Well, I had a big bag of seed potatoes. So I've ended up using pretty much 3 entire rows, and they're from the bottom to the top of my field, just potatoes. And obviously, I didn't expect that when I had my field at first. So the plan would be difficult for me to keep going. Like Ray says, soon goes out the window.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like if I was doing this full time as a career and had a massive, a big nursery, commercial size greenhouse, yes, of course I would use spreadsheets and profit and loss calculators, which you can do yourself. But you would
work out the profit and loss, just not where everything is.
I do that as well. But I mean, people have like accountancy apps and all sorts. But I mean, if it was free, you could possibly tempt me if I had a big allotment, like potentially. But the fact that you have
paper, that's what I do. I record everything on paper because you can't lose it then if you don't, if your computer or whatever goes, you can't really lose the piece of paper unless you literally lose it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of a.
So basically saying last year tried to grow a sunflower, but it did not have any seeds on it and still don't know why. I can't help you with that because I never have any luck with sunflowers.
I've got a few actually out the front. I've got a few they're miniature variety, about this big, and they flower. The miniature ones seem to flower, but the big tall ones, no. I think
you have to ask Nick's Allotment Diary if he comes in the stream. He's he's
very
he runs a challenge for them each year.
Really yeah.
So, what sort of seeds have you got sown currently, then, Jimbob?
I have. So I've been starting I think I did a video on it last year. A herb. Yeah, I think I did a herb garden. Sorry, Ray's saying he has 3 beds with sprouts. He's got his plan wrong. Yeah, I mean, if you like sprouts, then that's not bad. That's what I mean. If people overthink things, it's nice just to be able to, and that's what I like about gardening. You can not really overcomplicate things too much. It's just simple.
Yeah,
Anyway, I was saying.
No, go on.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Okay. I've started planting a herb garden again. So I've got a tray of basil, a tray of chives, and then I'm just taking some rosemary cuttings today. So I'm starting to do that. I'm starting to do a bit more herbs now to sell. So hopefully they'll be ready by the end of August. I heard that basil can be pretty tricky to grow, but
as long as you keep it well watered, I recommend actually having it sat in water most of the time. That works quite well.
Really?
Yeah. Have a dish underneath it. They like to be very wet. Basil do, and not too hot. They prefer partial shade. They prefer partial shade.
So should I take out my greenhouse? Do you think because that's like full sun?
Maybe put it at the bottom of your shelving, and then it will have a bit better shade, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a very good question, Basie. I have no idea yet.
No.
Probably, it just depends, really. Some weeks we might do a couple of them. Some weeks we might not at all. After the live stream, if you want, Jimbob will maybe work out a proper schedule for when we're going to do them. But even then, it will probably be relatively loose.
We'll do a plan.
You do them.
Yeah. See, this is the things that you sort of have to plan, like scheduling live streams and stuff. Yeah. Those are things you should plan.
Yeah.
But we're always a little bit. Well, you're not. You're very organised, actually. But I'm a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. So Ray's saying his basil grow very well in the soil under the tomatoes. Yeah, they're very good companion plants. Basil, tomatoes, and I think marigolds. They're very good companion plants.
That's good. Yeah, I heard. What is it? Marigold. I think marigolds deter aphids. Is that chives?
Yeah, they deter aphids.
Yeah, because of the smell.
Yeah,
I think
marigolds are brilliant for deterring green fly and white fly and things like that. They're brilliant for it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't touch wood. Haven't had that big of an aphid green fly problem. I've had a few, but you do that every year. So I've eliminated them.
Well, what I've actually found is in my field, there's an awful lot more wildlife than up at my greenhouse, mainly because the majority of that is brick drive. There's not really any grass growing and things like that. But in my field, obviously, it's just mainly grass now, and there's all sorts of things there. But there's lots and lots of ladybirds, and they actually eat most of the pests. So I think a lot of the time, definitely the new way of doing things is for every problem there is a natural solution. For example, green fly, white fly, aphids, ladybirds, slugs, get some ducks and things like that. and you can actually avoid a lot of things just by growing, I don't know, a couple plants that attract ladybirds, and that's your aphid problem permanently solved.
Yeah, it's something that I would like to. Yeah. So I was just reading Ray's comment.
I made that last year and grew giant ones.
What do they self-seed loads?
They aren't brilliant anyway. They take ages to get to flowering point. I had them, they're about a foot tall, really? And they just didn't do anything then. And then they did flower, but yeah, their seeds got everywhere for me. Fortunately, it was in my greenhouse. I only had about 5 that did get to flower, but yeah, they spread quite a bit through my pots. So Nick's Allotment Diary, thank you very much for coming along.
Oh, hi Nick. Hello. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, natural solutions. Fantastic. I mean, it's something that I would prefer to do more of. It's just that with the greenhouse and sort of, it's not a commercial setup, but a plant and sale setup is quite difficult, if that makes sense, because you've got plants coming in and they may only be there for a month and then they're going out again, and it's like, I don't know. It's difficult to do inside a greenhouse, if that makes sense, because it's in a structure. Or in my case, a temporary structure.
Yeah. So, do you have any like windows in your greenhouse then?
Well, we've got a big door at the front, which is annoying because there's no ventilation. So if I want to let air pass through or circulate round, I have to leave the big door open, which is fine, but I can't do that on a windy day.
Perhaps you could have it so that you've just got the bottom like foot or few inches of the door open, maybe.
I can do that. Yeah, I can totally do that. I can open it partially. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. So, what have you been up to then recently, Ray and Nick? Have you got any interesting plants growing, or have you planted anything recently? There we go. Ray's saying today he pulled up 2 quite healthy tomato plants to sow 4 cucumber plants, as had nowhere else to go. So are you running out of space then, by the sounds of things?
I had no luck with cucumbers this year. They all. I mean, my courgettes are picked up now that I've brought them down and I've tended to them because they had a few.
After growing them indoors and outdoors, I find they do way better outdoors. Indoors, it's too humid, and I find that the fruit rots and they just don't do as well. So I highly recommend trying outdoors. Yes, in the polytunnel.
Mine on my high wall, and they just weren't. I suppose it's because they were drying out so quickly. But I don't know. They were just being a bit and the fruit and the flowers were all rotting and going weird. But now that I've brought them down, I've cleared the powdery mildew off with a safe. I think it must be organic. Project Diaries has done a video on it. That's where I got my method from. It's his method, but I've adopted it. His recipe for powdery mildew. So yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to get my polytunnel up probably next summer now, purely because I've filled my like half the field this year with potatoes, things like that, and because you need it to be really like the heat of summer when you actually get the cover on. I'll probably do it next year, which will work out better for me anyway because I'd have done my GCSEs by then and things like that. So I'll have a bit more free time.
Wow. I've been out in the allotment this morning.
Yeah, I've been sorting out my shed today. Actually, I'm planning to move I've got like a little potting shed. I'm planning to move that down into my field because currently I have no shelter out there when it's hot or when it's raining.
Yeah. Also, that means you can store more gardening sundries. I guess you could call it accessory stuff. You know, if you need something on the go, not on the go. That's the wrong thing. Convenience, really. It's handy. It's all down.
I fill up my wheelbarrow in the morning with all my tools, take it down to the field, and then when I want to go up again, I take it back up, which is fine. But I could save myself a bit of time just having the shed down there with all the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you ever leave, if you were planning to do a load of digging the next day, would you ever leave some shovels and some stuff down there ready to go? Or?
To be honest, I do. Recently, I have been hiding away like the tools that I definitely bring down every day. Like I've got a Cornish shovel down there that I've sort of hidden away against the hedge, a rake and a hoe, just because I use them every day. So it's easier for me to just keep it there and then just sort of take them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting actually to see what isn't there been. I mean, in my area, I don't know whether this is like true for everywhere. There's been a lot of vandalism ever since everything's got back. There's been a lot of like the allotments up the road, like somebody had their shed broken into. It was so. I mean, that's really the only thing that's happened. But like for that to happen in our area is quite rare. It's a fairly quiet village, so that's so that's why I'm quite concerned about leaving tools around. But obviously you're living in a rural location, like more rural than we are. So
I don't leave them in plain sight. I literally tuck them. I lie them down against the hedge, completely out of sight from the drive and things like that. So I wouldn't just leave them lying in the middle of the field because they might not be there the next day. But I doubt that's them because most of my tools are in really bad condition anyway. They do not come
back. Yeah.
I think I've got about 2 or 3 tools that are actually in really nice condition and aren't like about to break. Yeah, that's mine at the minute. I've got so much stuff in my shed, so I've started clearing it out today, and I'll probably finish it tomorrow, and then I'll have a look at taking it apart. But I've put in a couple of windows, so it's going to be difficult taking it apart. I'm probably going to have to enlist some help, I think, to do it. Purely smash to smash. Yeah, I've been the same. I've just sorted out all the pots in my greenhouse, and now I've got another 3 crates full of pots, so I've got to do it all over again now, sort it all out and transfer the things. So, yeah.
I've just got so much like rubbish pots that are like weird sizes. They're like smaller than the small. They're like not 5 centimeters, but not 1 liter. They're just like really awkward sizes, and it's just.
I know. Yeah, like 12 centimeter type things.
Yeah.
I find the 12 centimeters are actually really useful for potting on hedging plants. Thank you very much for coming on, Daisy. Really appreciate that. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you. That's been great.
So we've now been going for 33 minutes, and just out of interest, how many likes do we have on the live stream? I'm assuming we've got maybe 2 or 3 if we're lucky.
Have a quick look. 4.
We got 4. Oh, nice. That's. I think that pretty much beats my live stream from last night. I think I only had about 4 or 5 likes on that one.
I'm really sorry. I was really.
That's fine.
We had to go out actually. We had to go out with the dogs. I'm so sorry about that. I tried to come to everyone.
It's fine, honestly.
Not to be a guest, but just to pop along and see how things are going.
Yeah, no, it's fine. People are busy. I completely understand that, and I didn't even tell them I was going to do it. I just said, right, I'm going to go live now, and went live. I think for the first 5 minutes, I think Ray popped in at the very start, and then there was nobody then for quite a while, and I was thinking, oh no. But then towards the end, so that was good.
Absolutely.
I'm still sort of experimenting with what times go well for a live stream, because I used to do them at 9 o'clock, as that was when I was catching most of my viewers then. But now I'm sort of finding that a lot of those people don't come along anymore, and I'm finding actually now the earlier I do them, I'm getting more views. Whereas it used to be I'd do it at 7 and I wouldn't get that many. But once I get scheduled live streams again as well, I think that'll sort of help because currently, unless they actually get notifications or anything, yeah, do it before someone else. There we go.
It is an interesting thing because, sorry, that's the next question for. I have been trying to. There's lots of things been going on. So I've been in the process of transferring my business from selling through a shop to selling privately direct to customer, and so that's been an interesting process. Sort of looking at what different plants I need to be growing, and sort of quantities, because having a massive tray of geraniums is no longer feasible, because people tend to get like their big loads of geraniums earlier on in the season, and yeah, but it's just at the minute I've been figuring out what I need to do, what I need to be growing for my new customers. I think
what you'll find is it will change. For example, this year I've done really well for selling tomatoes. I couldn't get enough. Next year, I know for a fact, it doesn't matter how many tomatoes I have or how good they're looking, I won't be able to sell them.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I think. But it's markets, isn't it? It's market trends. It's just one of those things you're gonna have to navigate, and it'll be fine.
Fill up my glass of water a minute. I'll be right back.
Cool. So I'm left in charge. Yeah. So right. So hope everybody's good. Has anybody been? Because I was interested the other day. Now that compost is is much more readily available, is anybody still having any difficulty getting compost? There seems to be the quality, from what I've found, is just. That's exactly what I've been doing. So I'm selling stuff on Facebook in the local Facebook marketplace, I think it's called. Yeah. Really? Wow. That's yeah. That's a lot cheaper than I could do them for. Ray. You've really got a bargain then. There. Yeah. Has anybody seen a difference in the compost quality during the trouble last month? I can't say the word. So has anybody experienced any troubles with compost? Because I'm finding weird objects. I'm finding bits of bale wrap and sort of, which is really odd actually, because it's compost. Bale wrap is, I suppose, I don't know, maybe they ferment moldy silage bales. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Not ferment, that's the wrong word. Decompose moldy silage bales, because that's the only reason I could see bale wrap being in there. It's just so strange. I'm seeing bits of rope and all sorts, which is really strange. So if anybody else has noticed that, there we go. Ray's saying, sorry, Nick saying the compost has started to come back in garden centres now. Yes, it has, and that's quite good, because I tend to get my compost from the garden centre down the road. It's still fairly cheap. I think it's £3.50 a bag of a 60 litre bag. As the compost was rubbish during, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Trouble is, Asda don't make it themselves, so they get it from a company.
Oh no, I think we've lost Jimbob. Jimbob, are you there? So, Gardening Quick Tips is saying our local nursery keeps selling out very quick. They sell clover that is very popular. Yeah, I think Jimbob spoke about it before. Jimbob, can you hear me? Put in the chat if you can hear me. Sorry about this. think we might have lost Jimbob. Oh, yep. So we have lost Jimbob. Nick saying you usually get clover compost 3 bags for 12 quid. That's pretty good. I'm just going to quickly invite Jimbob back to the stream a moment, so bear with me. Hopefully that's sent to him. Right, he should be back in a minute, hopefully. Yeah, I get most of my compost at cost price, which is a big help. So I get Westland multi-purpose with added johnniness, I believe it is. So I really impressed with the quality of it. It's very good. And they also do another one called Westland Gardener's Compost, but that one isn't as good. It's more it's like more fibrous and not as smooth. And I prefer compost to be sandier than anything, just as it's easier to work with when you're potting up loads and loads of stuff. Right, I'm just going to send another invite because that first one didn't go through. Sorry about this. All right, there we go. I think, yeah, there we go. It's sent one now. I'll just message Jimbob and tell him I've sent him another. Thank you for sharing the live stream, Nick. I appreciate that. No, I've not got a non-peat. I've not got a peat-free compost, but the Westland with added johnniness multi-purpose is very low in peat. It's I think it's just under 30% or just under 20% or something. It's lower than most of them. There we go. Okay, he's coming back. Okay, I sent you a link, Jimbob. Okay, so Ray's saying he's been adding sand to his compost. Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully Jimbob will be back with us in a moment. So recently in my field, I've obviously planted all these potatoes and things. Okay, Jimbob says he likes to go. Yeah, you're missing the compost discussion, Jim. But yeah, recently in my field, I've obviously had this issue with the blight. So I'm now using copper mixture. And I was just wondering if anybody knew of any other methods that can help reduce blight. I have been told that fairy liquid in water is supposed to help reduce blight as well. Does anybody know of any other like ones that I can sort of make up myself? Because I've only got about that much copper mixture left, and that won't do all of the potatoes this Friday. Yeah, bear with us while we're just trying to get Jimbob back a moment. It takes a while for him to load in, so. So one thing that I am growing is heirloom courgettes, and they're round courgettes. And I'm actually really, really impressed with how well they've done. My regular courgettes, I normally find they just sort of rot off before they produce any fruit, like the actual fruit rots. So Nick's saying he's heard aspirin might help with blight. Okay, thank you. I'll have a look at that. And because obviously normally I then lose most of my courgette crops, I might only get 5 decent courgettes in a year, but so far I've got 3 that are getting quite large and probably nearly ready to harvest, and I got another one. I got another one that's just behind them, but it's sending out like actual vines. So whereas the regular courgettes sort of just sit in a bush, this one's actually sending out vines and clawing on, like holding onto the grass and things like that, which is completely different to the courgettes that I normally grow. So I'm really impressed with how vigorous it's growing. I'm definitely going to grow them next year. And if you're wondering where to get, if you're interested in getting any heirloom plants, I'm not sponsored by this company at all. It's a very good company, Heirloom and Perennial. They have all sorts of heirloom and perennial seeds, and they're very good prices as well. So I do highly recommend them. I personally buy all of my seeds from there now, as they're just really, really good quality. And I find actually the heirloom plants taste nicer and just grow better than Thompson and Morgan and all of those. So I do recommend just having a look at them. Obviously, they don't have traditional varieties like gardeners delight tomatoes, Tom Thumb lettuce, but they do have all sorts of other heirloom varieties that are just as good, if not sometimes better than these others. And again, I'm not sponsored by this company at all. They're a really good company. I really recommend them. So they're Heirloom and Perennial. Hopefully we'll have Jimbob back in a few minutes. I'll send him another invite just in case the first one didn't work. Oh, there we go. Oh, device not connected. Okay, he's nearly here. Jimbob, I don't know if you can hear me. You need to connect your mic and camera before I can add you to the stream. I have no idea how you connect that, but that's what it's telling me. There we go. Add to stream. Just loading in. I'm afraid you've missed the compost discussion, Jim. Yeah, we can hear you. Just about.
I'm in the show.
There we go. You're here.
Hi. So, oh my god, it's entirely my fault. My charger was not plugged in. But I'm back. Just came on to see Nick putting. He's heard aspirin might help with blight. I mean, anything's possible, right? No, I mean, is that ducted or because when you put it in it, this is. So do you spray it on the leaves like? Wait, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So Jimbob, I know you said the other day that you were thinking about starting making a composter. Have you done any more of that? Have you started composting? Oh no! Oh, you're back. Good.
Kind of. It's kind of an old bin, but it. Oh, on my back. Sorry. It's like an old bin, but like it's a white bin. It's fine. It's in a shady spot. It's kind of just storing some wood. At the minute. Hello, Ray. Yeah. I am back. Thank you very much for welcoming me. Gary Pilchard. Oh, that's great. Not Gary Pilchard. Gary Pilchard. Yeah, Pilchik. I think I pronounced that right.
Pilarchik.
I'm so sorry. Oh wow. And bicarbonate of soda. Now, bicarbonate of soda seems to solve every problem. I'm just trying to deflect from calling him Gary Fulchers. Yeah, I think bicarbonate of soda solves loads of problems. That and like Epsom salts.
You're already back in the live stream and you're already giggling.
Yeah, it's why is it so laggy? It seems to be up today.
Yeah, my internet's saying 4 bars, so I think it might be on your end. Possibly.
Mine's 4 bars. I don't know what the strength is. It could be very good or mediocre. The latter one because it's rubbish. But there we go. Yeah, it really is bad.
So, Jimbob, you said
I really am in trouble.
Oh, we've got some people here. Bill and Val's allotments here. Thank you very much for coming along. Welcome to the live stream. Sorry, I think our feed's a little bit behind.
Don't believe I've. Yep. So I'm just getting a chat.
You're mentioning your composter then, and then you sort of lagged out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so my composter, it's a bin that we don't need anymore. So I've decided to just chuck a load of sticks in there and see how it goes. Honestly, I don't expect anything to compost because I'm just used to store bits of.
Well, has it got any?
Yeah, sticks.
To be able for compost to be able to actually decompose, it needs to be very aerated. So I recommend every week or so taking the lid off and then with a fork just digging it over, or maybe if there's not much in it, literally picking the bin up and just sort of shaking it around a bit.
I could compete with anaerobic digestion if I don't put any holes in there.
It takes thousands of years. So I mean, if you're willing to wait thousands of years for some peat,
might be waiting for that. But yeah, no, I do want to do it because this stuff, which is just unnecessary, I'd rather actually make good use of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm planning on making a.
So that would be.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
That's good.
Yeah, so I've just sort of got an area marked out at the minute where I'm going to put it.
The pallet. He's walking in here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've sort of got that ready to build now. I've just got a.
Sorry.
Area. Oh, it's fine, Jim. Don't worry.
It's very cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that because everybody I know who does compost things, they always say that it's very enjoyable and their best part of gardening is composting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Really? Very cool. Yeah, so before I lagged out, we were having a bit of a discussion about compost and the quality of it. And as we're saying, I'm finding really strange things. Here we go again. Yeah, I'm finding really strange things. I'm just going back on the chat. So Nick said, has anyone managed to get a decent non-peat compost? No, is a simple answer. I've trialed so many, and I'm just getting a little bit fed up with it now because I've seen the one I've got now is I would show peat basically. It doesn't talk about peat at all, but it's peat-free compost. It's good because it's helping the environment, and that's what I'm trying to do more of. But it's also the one I've got now is assuming peat-based because it's got a very dark, rich texture, but it's also got a lot of organic matter in it. So I feel like it's not just a bag of peat like some composts are.
Yeah,
like 90
or a bag of sticks,
so
like some of the peat-free ones are normally.
Yeah, I mean, I wish if they just, if they rotted them a little bit later or put in more. I think would you have to put in more green matter to make it a bit more soil?
Green and brown normally to make compost in a bin anyway. So yeah.
But I think they do it in like big like silage plant bunker style.
Yeah, well, again, it's the same thing. You basically like have a layer of green, layer of brown, layer of green, and then you turn that. How the aeration of that allows it, and also keeping it moist but not like soaking, is what allows it to decompose. I find a lot of bits of like you get bits of string, bits of like wrappers, and all sorts in them sometimes.
And it's kind of, in my opinion, quite difficult to imagine how these objects end up in compost, because how?
It just shows you that they're not, they aren't getting the most reliable sources of things. They're probably literally getting from like food recycling and things like that, and then just all sorts end up in them.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you tried New Horizon peat-free range? Now, I have, and I've tried the peat-free grow bags, and I've got to say, they're quite good. That's one of the ranges that are pretty decent, to be honest with you. If you can get hold of it at the correct prices, that's the trouble. It is, let's just say it's £8 for a 60-litre bag. And it's kind of
peat-free.
Yeah. It's just a shame, because I think it would be more popular if the pricing was a bit more reasonable.
Yeah, I would definitely switch if it was actually not a ridiculous price.
Yeah, it is. I do feel bad sometimes using it, but at the same time, you have to.
I just use a very low peat if I can, as low as I can find.
That's what, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you used to use the compost that I use. I don't think it's very high in peat.
It's not very high. No, it's a very low one as well.
Yeah, but it's a good quality, even though I find weird objects in it.
Yeah, sadly, that's just compost. You're going to find those. I recommend if you have really bad issues with it, actually sieve the compost before you use it. That tends to help.
Right. So that's a bit of a faff, though, isn't it? Really, sieving it.
Yeah, but
you shouldn't have to do that. It's wrong that you should have to do that.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to.
Yeah, but it's not like it's top of the range. It's not like Vitax or anything really fancy. So yeah.
So what composts does everybody else use then? Because like I said, I use Westland multi-purpose with added John Innes, and I find that actually really good. It's got bits of grit in it, and obviously John Innes, and I find it quite a good nutrient dense one for growing stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to use it. Nowhere around here stocks it, or they do stock a one with John Innes, but it's Levington's, so it's not very good. What did most of peat-free use? Wood fiber. Wood fiber. Wood fiber. Whoa. I can't stand wood fiber because I don't know whether it's synthetic or it's not, and that's going to sound really stupid. But I pick it up and it's almost it's like a stringy kind of, and it's not bark, it's not chipped wood. It's just weird, but they're all shaped the same size. Is that coir?
That's the one that coir. Yeah, that's coconut coir. Yeah, they do use that as well, and that one literally never breaks down. But it isn't plastic. But it never breaks down.
Using Erin seems okay and cheap and cheerful, but they use so much. Erin, I have heard mixed things about Erin compost. I mean, it's I can't find anywhere. It's some of the brands like Erin. I think Erin and like Ambassador and some of the other brands we don't have down here, but I don't know.
My
Erin,
personal favorite compost, and I've only used it a couple times, is Vitax Q4. That is amazing. That's like the top of the range, really, in my opinion. It's really, really good stuff. But you can't get it anywhere. Vitax Q4 is pretty much impossible to get at the minute.
There is somewhere that sells it. I think it's near Hale, but that's.
Oh yeah, BHGS, but they aren't very nice over there. They won't do you a decent price, even though they're supposed to be wholesalers.
Yeah.
Well, I say that they do a decent price for everything but Vitax Q4, and for that, and I know, like, you know, I understand that it's higher quality, so it's going to be more, but their pallet rate isn't the greatest.
Compost wise, best compost. I got to be honest with you. I used to grow Violet Farm. Is a tough one to get. There's only like a handful of gardens that have it around here. It's a local company, but that is really good. It's just perfect. It's got the right mixture of both. I like Bathgate Champions Blend. I have looked at Bathgate, and it does look very good because I was going to buy a pallet of it when I lived at my previous house. I was going to buy a pallet of compost, and that did come up actually as a good price. The only trouble was that it's I can't remember what they said. They don't have 60-litre bags for. I think if you wanted 6-litre bags, I think you had to order like 4 pallets or something like that, and I just couldn't do that. There's just no way.
Or surely you could have got a pallet of maybe like different litres.
I did. I was going to get a pallet of 40-litre, but it was a bit of a waste of material. It was a bit of a. I would have been dealing with a lot of plastic, and it would have just been a bit unnecessary.
Yeah. So we have now been going for just over an hour. How many likes have we got? Could somebody tell us, please?
It's still on 4, maybe.
Is it?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, 4. I'm still on 4. It isn't bad.
That's not bad, to be honest. That is, we've done live streams before. We've had about 2, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much longer you want to stream for, Jimbob. Whether we sort of call it an end now or go on for a bit longer, it's completely up to you.
I mean, do we have anything else to talk about? Really, I'm not quite sure.
Not much. We've gone through quite a lot in the past hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you for coming along, Jimbob. I appreciate that, and thank you to everybody who has been in the chat. And if you aren't already, subscribe to Jimbob's Gardening and Farming, and check out Heirloom and Perennial if you're interested in getting some heirloom seeds. I highly recommend them. And again, I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just find them very good quality and highly recommend them. So Ray's asking, Tomato, what variety do you like? I'm boring. I like the Gardener's Delight, to be honest, and the Moneymaker.
Whoa. Okay. I'm growing. I've got a bit of an obsession with native seeds and native plants. Not native plants, sorry, native varieties. And I've got a bit of an obsession of making sure that they still stay in use. And one of the varieties I'm using at the minute, and I've sold actually commercially.
Can you get native tomatoes to this country?
Absolutely. Not native, but a seed, an old British variety. That could be what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
A native British
like
variety.
Original varieties that you would have found like in the wild, essentially.
Yeah. So tomato harbinger is what I've been growing, what I've been selling, what I've got now, and it's pretty good for an old English variety. Usually they're not favoured anymore because they're bright blight prone or prone to different diseases, but they're actually holding up quite well. So that's the one I'm growing in a minute. That's the only Old English one I've ever heard of. But yeah, it seems to be doing really well.
Yeah, I will go into more things like that for tomatoes in the future. Currently, I'm focusing on some of the easier to grow heirloom varieties. So courgettes of any kind, really, onions, things like that. They're easier to grow anyway, and there's less diseases that can get them.
Yeah.
Bloody Fox Gaming is here. Hello, thank you very much for coming along. Tonight I'm doing a live stream with Jimbob from Jimbob's Gardening and Farming. Piccolo tomatoes. I've heard of those.
Save seed. That's something I want to do more, saving seed, actually.
Yeah.
I say it every year, but it's just...
You do, yes.
Oh, wow.
I think you get
100 plants. Whoa, that's quite a lot. Another plants just bought, another 15. Or variety.
Yeah, I'm planning on sort of filling up my the big section of my polytunnel when I get it up, because it's 120 feet long and 27.5 feet wide. So I'm looking forward to, once I get that up, growing just huge quantities of everything.
Yeah.
So what other sort of heirloom varieties are you trying to grow then, Jimbob, of like any other plants?
Heirloom varieties. Well, that's it really.
Yeah.
I've tried. Listen, I've been trying. I know. I made a promise to myself early this year, and I said I would not. I would try to only have British varieties. So I suppose it's heirloom varieties, but that has failed because using seed companies that actually have these varieties is a real faff, and it really is. And that's not like small seed companies, fantastic, but when you've got Tomato Harbing stocked in King Seeds, and then you've got another native variety of broad bean stocked in another seed company, jumping around like that is just not. It's just a non-starter because you end up paying.
Yeah, I recommend checking out Heirloom and Perennial. Then they have got consistent varieties, and they have a huge selection. Even now, they've got loads of different plants you can get. So I do recommend checking them out if you're struggling to find them.
I'm really interested in is seed companies that grow their own seed.
Heirloom and Perennial.
Is that something? Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as
it's
I
really
know,
interesting because there's only one large-scale commercial seed producer that does that, and it's like, what's happened? Well, half of two, I suppose. And it's like, what's happened? You know, where's it all gone? And it's such a shame that we've lost that, because apparently I've never bitten, but apparently in Essex there used to be that used to be the big seed growing area of the country, and now it's all just farmland like the rest of it. It's not used for that specific purpose, which is a shame.
Yeah, as far as I know, Heirloom and Perennial grow their own seed, and if not grow their own seed, then they source it from local areas. But as far as I know, they do grow all of their own seed, from what I've been told and from what I sort of gather.
Yeah, that's good. I'll definitely check them out.
F1, yeah.
F1. I don't know. Can somebody please explain what exactly F1 variety is? Because I know it's a hybrid, but
yeah, so they only have female flowers, so you won't be able to grow the seeds from them. Essentially, they're infertile. The idea is that being only female flowers, you have lots more fruit, which is perfect if that's what you want to do. But you can't. The seed is not viable. Then it won't do anything.
Right. So is that a genetically modified variety?
Yes. Any F1 is not natural, and to be honest, most varieties in general now that are commonly bought are in some way genetically modified or have been selectively bred with other things. So that's why I like getting heirloom things, because they don't really have to.
I can't stand all of this GMO nonsense. It's really, I can't. Yeah. When I heard about it all becoming a big thing, I mean, I don't know whether it's hit agriculture yet in the UK massively, because we never use F1 seeds. I don't know, but it's just one of those things. Like, I'm not really fussed on if I can avoid it. It's F1 seeds. I know you get high yield, but
well, that's the thing. Obviously, F1, it's a funny one because there are so many benefits to a regular person. It's like, why wouldn't you get that? But if you want to save seed, Or if you don't want to lose that variety, F1 will never work. And which is why some really good varieties could eventually be lost because you can't save the seed from them.
That's exactly what is happening with. So before, we've lost hundreds of apple varieties. Apple tree varieties have gone down the pan. And particularly, there used to be, I can't remember, in Devon in particular, where we used to grow a lot of cider apples, there used to be a lot of native varieties literally specific to this area, but a lot of it is just gone. Some of the varieties still stay up and going, so when orchards are abandoned, the trees are just left, which can mean they keep on growing. But I think there is a difference between GMO and selective breeding. But yeah, there is a difference. It's a big difference, a very big difference. Yeah, I don't know. Selective breeding is just
selective breeding isn't as bad. I personally just want to use the heirloom varieties because if more people don't start using them, they are going to be lost.
Absolutely, I'm 100% with you, and that's why I am. I mean, what was I growing? I was growing Scarlet Emperor runner beans to sell, and that apparently is a very common variety.
It's a very common variety, but it's not heirloom.
No. And I was looking at it. It's not an heirloom variety, but it is a traditional, very old traditional British variety. But it's not as popular as I first thought. It's actually starting to go out of fashion because of the F1 varieties, which is a real shame. But I suppose there's nothing we can do about that. GMO involves in certain genes.
Selective breeding is literally just like promising characteristics. So, for example, you've got one tomato, say, that's doing really, really well, producing lots of fruit, and then you've got another one that doesn't produce as much fruit, but it's really resistant to all the diseases. Then you breed those two, and you sort of get the bonuses from both.
That's quite. I suppose that's common. Well, I suppose it is common sense.
Selective breeding isn't bad at all, but personally, I just like to get natural things that are literally as you would find to them. Even though selective breeding, it's completely possible that could accidentally happen in the wild. Do you know what I mean? But still, I just think the heirloom varieties, as they are, personally, I don't want them to be lost. I like using them. I actually find them in many ways better. I just, I'm happy to use them if they're better.
It kind of relates back to, I mean, this is like everything, when we look at cattle breeds, particularly, I mean, with dairy is such a prime example. Holstein at the minute, Holstein Friesian is the top dairy breed because of I think it's like 38 litres a day is sort of what you can expect from a high producing commercial Holstein. Well, if you wave that in front of, if you said that to me, if I was in the dairy industry, I would take it because of and it's like, it's so interesting because I suppose it's not a breed that is genetically modified in a sense, but it's that's selective breeding,
Yeah. So Nick's saying, good that you want to keep heirloom varieties going. Yeah, I just think it would be a shame for them to be lost because most of them are just as good, if not better, than some of the ones we've got now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll put it in chat. It's heirloom and perennial, but I do really recommend checking it out. I highly recommend them. They're very cheap and they deliver.
Do you want me to drop a link in there so it says you doing it?
Sorry, I think I've got it actually open on another tab somewhere. Let me have a look. Yeah, I do. Here we go. I'll just copy and paste that. Bear with me. Here we go. Oh no, what's it doing now? Okay, how can I? I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. Right. I'll put it in chat. No, that's not. Oh, I don't know what's happening now. It won't do a copy. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It won't copy and paste. Make sure you're finding the right one because there's lots of different.
Yeah, I will.
Names.
Perennial limited.
Won't let me copy and paste. Oh no, here we go. It's let me do it now.
Is it Heirloom Perennial Limited?
It's all right. I've got it now. I'll put it in chat.
Okay, that's cool.
Right, there it is. So yeah, check that link after the live stream, or now if you want. I do highly recommend them if you're looking into heirloom varieties.
I will. I definitely will. It's something I've been wanting to do, like native varieties and all, particularly native UK varieties. That's something I'm going to look out for. Yeah. Foodforest.eu. It's the same website I found. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're going to bring it to an end now. I don't know about you, unless there's something you want to say, but I think I've said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah, I think we've I think we've reached. It's so dark actually in here as well.
Thank you for co-hosting with me tonight, Jimbob. I really appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who's come along to the live stream tonight. Again, I really do appreciate that. And we'll try and work out a proper schedule so that we do more frequent live streams. It might not every time be me and Jimbob. It might be me, Jimbob, and somebody else, or just me, or whatever. But we will try and work out some sort of rough systems that we know when we're going to go live, and when we're going to go live. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.